Toy Story already has it.
What's up, everybody, and welcome to ITG Daily, the show that brings you the hottest in gaming news. I'm Drew Bosley, yes, and Toy Story does have it all. There's no doubt about that, is it, Scott? You can find me over on Twitter at ArtisticGamer28, and that's the one, the only. It is Scott Savage. What is up, Scotty?
Oh, I'm still just recoiling from finishing a game up the other day, and
yeah,
that feels good. It feels good to check one off the list.
Dude, I've been on fire this week. It's been a good week. I got one coming out in the next couple days. One drops today at noon. I'm telling everybody right now, you can join us live over on twitch.tv/the official ITG, as well as YouTube at ITG Reviews, where our review will actually air in about an hour. So make sure you swing by there, check that out, because it is what? Scott, my most anticipated title of the season for indies, and this is one you're definitely gonna want to check out. So make sure you swing by there. But coming up on today's show, by the way, if you didn't know, you could also follow us over on OTT streaming platforms around the world, Scott. Now,
well, there are a few of those, aren't there?
Yes, there certainly is, and we're actually why noon? Such a random time. You know what, Northern Nerdcast, if you don't know, what is up, your Doom guide? This is how it goes, all right? We don't make the embargo times, Brad. We just follow them, all right? The rules are the rules, and sometimes I say rules are meant to be broken, but not in this instance. We don't break those rules.
It's extra fun when it's about 5 in the morning or 6 in the morning.
Dude, those ones, the 3 o'clock in the morning ones get me. I'm like, 3 o'clock? No one's all right. I guess that's when it drops. But yeah, we get the embargo
midnight somewhere.
Yeah, we're just happy to get the game in time to play it and beat it. Yeah, we'll talk about it later. We'll probably talk about it on tomorrow's show, but you'll keep an eye on the release date games today. Okay, Scott, let's get into the show. We got sidetracked already. Northern, way to go. Man, who invited this guy? Xbox looks to television to expand their games now. So there you go. Watch out, Sony. Here they come. PlayStation continues to expand their goals for eSports, and a new Tony Hawk game is not coming to consoles. It's coming to the Metaverse. That's a twist of events, dude. If you ever saw one, isn't it? Wow. Yeah. Let's get into Xbox game Grounded in the works as an animated series for the Star Wars clone Brent Friedman. Dude, it's called Honey, I Shrunk the Kids movie years ago, and didn't they make a TV series? But now we're back into it.
Yeah, now I can't think about this game without thinking about Rick Moranis. I better just get this out of the way quickly. I hope Rick Moranis has some part in this.
Man. It would be, dude, he's got to make some kind of cameo appearance, right? But this comes from Peter White over at Deadline. The Xbox video game, which is inspired by A Bug's Life and Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, right there, Scotty, is being adapted by Star Wars Clone Wars writer Brent Friedman. It marks the latest video game to get the television treatment following the likes of Netflix Arcane, which is incredible. Absolutely.
Yeah, I still haven't seen that one.
Dude, it is
I've
so
only
good.
Heard good things.
It is fantastic. You got to watch it. And Paramount's plus Halo. That was... Don't talk to Nate. Just don't talk to Nate about that one. The series, which exists in the same universe as the game, follows 4 friends who, the summer before high school, plan, quote, big things, end quote, to elevate their social standing. But their plans are upended when they stumble upon shrinking technology that makes them 2 inches tall. Now the 4 shrunken friends must learn to survive in a towering backyard that's a jungle full of enormous predators and hiding a vast corporate conspiracy threatening their entire town. Scott, does this do anything for you? Are you excited? I mean, yeah, let's go. We'll start there.
I actually am very excited for this one because the game, when I played Grounded, there was very early on. There wasn't a whole lot of updates out. So there was just a huge amount of mystery behind the game.
Right.
Why is there a tiny spacecraft that crashes in the backyard?
Sure.
There's a bunch of different things that I think they're going to be able to explore in a really good manner.
Absolutely. I think it's I don't know. So Grounded never really connected with me, right? I was looking for that survival aspect, and I went over to Last Oasis for a while and then fell off, and I haven't really seen one kind of hook me as of late, except for the game that drops today at noon. But that's a different survival. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I want... Green Hell is the one that stands out to me.
Oh, good call.
But
good call.
Shortly after Green Hell, it was Grounded that grabbed me, but I just couldn't pull a team in. So it fizzled out.
Yeah, so, but you're starting to see a lot of these things come over to the world of television, right? We're starting to see Sony move highly in the world of TV and movies. We're getting The Last of Us TV series, which I cannot wait for. That looks incredible. There's rumblings now of a Fallout TV series in the works. Now this is coming. Like they're starting to transition and bring. It's a cross media platform now is coming around, right? But at one point it was television, video games, and then video game adaptations of movies that sucked, and now that's starting to come around a little bit, and that's starting to be a lot better than what we've had in the past, Scott.
Every time this topic comes up, I have to rewatch Doom.
Oh yeah, Mortal Kombat.
Yeah. That's an infinitely better one. I like Mortal Kombat so much. I was a kid when those movies came out, and they're good.
Yeah, it's
they're not all that good.
No, oh man, no. Actually, most of them are horrible. So, did you like the last Mortal Kombat movie? Did you see that one?
I didn't actually see that one.
Oh man, it was actually pretty good.
I was trying to coordinate it to watch it with my dad because we watched the other two, but we didn't figure it out.
Oh, that's fair. No, you gotta check out this one. It's Mortal Kombat, right? So I don't know. I had a good time. It is what it is. So just go in mindful of that. Low high hopes, low expectations.
Oh, as long as they don't change Scorpion and Sub-Zero on me, I know there'll be a decent movie there.
Yeah, for sure. All right, let's get into what PlayStation's up to. PlayStation continues its esports expansion by acquiring Repeat.gg. Comes from Yule over at WCC Tech. It seems as if PlayStation wants to continue its expansion beyond consoles and games. The latest acquisition is a tournament leaderboard platform known as Repeat.gg. This platform focuses on games that aren't even available on the PlayStation family of console systems. That's funny. So yeah, they're starting to branch out. You see PlayStation also moving in the world of PC. So this is where it's starting to kind of come together, Scott. So could this mean that they want to be on the competitive side of games that are also on PC? Scott, let's stop right there. What are your thoughts about that statement alone?
Well, they're just seeming to pour over into PC altogether. It seems to be just things that sell really well, but maybe it's going to be more just kind of competitive edge spaced kind of games. But I wonder what that's going to look like. Are they going to start pushing PlayStation exclusives into esports in a way of kind of shoehorning themselves in there?
That's fair. Kyle joins us over on YouTube. Says the new Resident Evil on Netflix is the best adaptation they are saying in a long time for a game to TV. So there's one to check out if you like the spookies.
Yeah, Resident Evil's hit or miss and often miss.
Yeah, for sure. The PlayStation's competitive expansion started with the announcement of its acquisition of the Evolution fighting game tournament EVO. Dude, that was a big step when they purchased EVO and brought them in, right? They're the competitive fighting scene of all tournaments. That's kind of everything goes in one basket, except for Nintendo. He seems to have bounced out of everything. It then continued with the announcement of a partnership that would provide amazing accessories and monitors that would majorly benefit PC players. Dude, they're making a move. They're definitely lining up to go into the PlayStation/PC ecosystem now. You know what it is? Honestly, it's the competition that Xbox has brought out, right? With Game Pass and day one on PC and console, PlayStation has now taking a look at their roadmap and go, man, we got to catch up here. Even though they are somewhat in the leaderboard of last gen and maybe even the beginning of this gen, I don't know if they can keep that leaderboard going with the way Xbox is now transitioning and pivoting their model of everything that they're evolving.
Yeah, Xbox seems to be changing and adapting much faster, but it's spurring on an industry-wide kind of change. Now, do you think there's a possibility PlayStation All-Stars 2?
Oh, dude.
If they're into the world of esports and they start providing support for a lot of these programs, well, maybe.
Okay, so it was funny because we talked about, I mentioned PlayStation All-Stars yesterday on the show, and I went and checked out what Superbot is up to, right? That's the developer, Superbot Entertainment, I believe they were. Dude, that was the only game they made, was PlayStation All-Stars, and then shut down. Like, I haven't seen them do anything else. I could be wrong, but I don't think I am, because when I looked yesterday, dude, I couldn't find anything else on them. Like, that was it. They did one game. And man, I had a blast. It was a unique spin, right? Because you had 3 tiers of your super at the end of it, right? But all the pros, honestly, were using the first super to take out your opponent, and instead of working your way up, because the more the higher the tier structure you got to with your super, the more you can take out at once, but there's only so many people on screen, right? But you get that first tier so quickly that would just keep sniping at that one and picking everybody off, and that's how they climb the leader so quickly to be the number one of the match. It was cool.
Yeah, they'll find out the quickest, most efficient way of defeating the opponent, and that's like what esports is all about. But
absolutely,
I used to call it Sony Smash Bros because it's kind of just visually what it looks like to me. And
yeah.
I'm not certain that Smash Bros is even, well, it will always be around in some capacity, but I'm not sure if it's on Evo and the main ones because Nintendo is reclusive.
Yeah, well, because I thought they were at one point, and then they bounced off. But dude, some of the games
they probably sued them out of existence.
Oh man,
hold their content.
Fair enough. But some of the games that Repeat.gg have worked on is League of Legends, right? Not on PlayStation whatsoever. Fortnite is, PUBG is, Call of Duty Warzone, they're there, and Dota. So they have a pedigree of working with these games and partnerships and stuff. So the fact that PlayStation now is creeping in as well and purchase this studio or this company up is interesting to see where the future holds for PlayStation and PC players. But yeah,
everybody's getting interested in esports. That's just a big change in the industry altogether nowadays. That's the next big thing.
No, absolutely, right? It's esports is not going anywhere. It gets bigger and bigger. ESL
why can't I put my Oculus on and attend Evo?
Well, okay, you ready? Because dude, it's coming. I guarantee you, it is coming. For those who are fans of Post Malone, that he just did a virtual concert with Meta itself,
I've seen a few of those actually. Not in Meta specifically. This is several years ago.
Right, so you can buy your way into the shows, but without actually having to travel to venues. Now, if you're a concert goer, dude, there's nothing like being at a concert, right? Like it's the hype and the atmosphere is something else.
You're never gonna. Well, you don't have to tell me my kind of music. You can't produce that kind of energy unless you're live.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But here's another avenue, right? By putting on your Oculus, all of a sudden now you're in this intimate little kind of corridor experience in a concert. Now they could be, it depends on how they want to function that thing. But think of it as, dude, like Fortnite drops some of the best concerts in the gaming space we've ever seen.
Yeah, those are always really cool. Have a lot of visuals going on.
Which is something I don't think you can really do at a concert, right? Because all of a sudden now you're in the Fortnite world and then all this big flashy stuff comes up. Like it's just nothing like it to experience the events that Fortnite put on in person. But if you go into the metaverse and with your headset, and then there's a whole other ball game of opportunities, right? All of a sudden now you're flying. Man, you can't do that at a concert. Yeah. You can crowd surf. That's as close as you're gonna get, though, Scott.
Yeah, a lot of the time you get hurt that way, though.
Yes, you do, dude. Let's get into some weird news with Tony Hawk. He's doing NFTs in the biggest skate park in the metaverse.
Oh boy, the metaverse.
Well, get used to it, man, because I don't think that word is disappearing anytime soon. This comes from Andy Chalk over at PC Gamer. We're not getting any more Tony Hawk Pro Skater remakes. Oh, dude, right there's that's a heartbreaker. But
Tony Hawk Underground, come on.
But we are getting is Tony Hawk NFTs. The famed skater has done a deal with the Sandbox to create, quote, the biggest skate park in the metaverse, end quote. Dude, I
don't know if the bar is very high for that one at the moment.
Well, so the Sandbox is probably one of the biggest in the metaverse right now. Whether or not they can stay there, I'm not sure. What the metaverse does is they've created a voxel world, but you buy properties of land. And I think that's what Tony's done here is he's bought a big chunk of land, and now people are going to be able to get into these parks and check it out in a different way. And it's interesting to see how this is going to function. You're not going to get the high fidelity graphics though, because it is a voxel. So it's like almost like a Minecraft scenario, right? The park and the characters in it are chunky and blocky, very much like the sort of thing you see in Minecraft. There you go. That's not if that's not an issue itself, obviously Minecraft is pretty popular. Yes.
Well, yeah. Have you guys ever heard of Roblox?
Oh man, that's a metaverse. But it does run counter to Hawk's promise that, quote, you have never seen skating like this, end quote. The lack of imagination is less disappointing than the fact that the venture is focused on non-fungible tokens. Autograph will create Tony Hawk's avatar NFTs based on Tony Hawk and his most iconic skateboards, equipment, and apparel, including the legendary skateboard Tony Hawk used to land the 900 at the X Games in 1999.
Oh, there you go. There's going to be your top tier extra ruby platinum.
Yeah, worth how much? The announcement states, quote, the sandbox will make NFTs interoperable in its own open metaverse, turning autographs, high fidelity avatars into 3D voxel versions that have in-game functionality for experiences, adding utility and value to their owners. End quote. Quote, Tony Hawk embodies the preservation of consistently striving for improvement while never giving up, and forging him into a skateboarding legend and successful entrepreneur. End quote. Dude, it's an interesting time and escape what we're getting into for video games. We're starting to see this transition into a cartoony atmosphere. We've seen games rise up to such a realistic appearance now within games and high fidelity and stuff. And now we're getting into the metaverse where it goes to a voxel, which is way more like the world of Minecraft than what we're used to. This hits with some, but it doesn't hit with others, does it?
No, it kind of anything NFT related just sits wrong with me. So maybe that's kind of a point of bias here. But
sure,
I look at it and I go, well, who asked for this? I want Tony Hawk remakes, remasters.
Well, here's the thing.
How much of a Tony Hawk fan do you have to be to get into a whole NFT? It's a combination of two communities, I suppose. I'm not going to understand the NFT thing just because I already don't.
Well, that's fair. I think eventually it will transition full circle and become just a part of the gaming world that we're a part of, and not think of it as we are right now. But I think that's still a ways away.
I think that's 100 years away in the world of Mega Man. Now, if I can get an NFT of Mega Man, super fighting robot, maybe that'll change my mind a little.
I don't think it's that far away. I think we're less than 10 years probably. I'm thinking we're closer to 5, maybe 6 years before that becomes just a standard thing for us. But it doesn't hit home with everybody. The world is definitely changing the landscape, but a lot of gamers themselves just don't understand or don't want to understand, I guess, the metaverse. And here, the other side of it is, though, dude, they're not making Activision, I think, shut down the ability to make any more Tony Hawk games because they brought, what was it, Vicarious over into the Call of Duty space. Like, they just said, okay, you're done. So Tony's like, well, now what am I going to do? The dude's always thinking about how he can create this next project and make more money. And I think the sandbox was a smart move on his part to be able to do that and keep his legacy alive, right? Because now Activision just shut it down. Now, never say never, right? We did get Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1 and 2 remake, but at the same time, Activision they bring stuff out and then they just shut it down unless it's Call of Duty.
I'm very nervous about any sort of changes like this becoming an industry norm, because there's a lot of good things that can happen for sure. But what if Respawn goes, no more Titanfall, here's an NFT? That's the most offensive substitute in that scenario.
Yeah.
You want Splinter Cell? Well,
oh man,
here's a Sam Fisher NFT. He appears in every other Ubisoft game ever, but not his own.
I think what the biggest problem is that NFTs are made and then a game is made around the NFT instead of just making a solid game and then implementing the NFT, right? There's two ways to do it. It almost feels like the very start of mobile, where mobile started and everybody's like, this is just a gimmick kind of thing. And then now look at mobile is one of the biggest markets in the gaming space. It topples over consoles and PC, right? Mobile is that big. It is absolutely huge. When we take a look at figures, the way I saw the other day, it was like 200 billion was made in video games. 100 billion of that was just mobile alone.
That's insane.
Exactly.
Money.
It's huge dollars, right? And I think we're just so early in the metaverse to kind of transition things over. But it's going to be curious because over on a couple of channels I've seen, like, everybody's talking about it. It's just like, holy crap. So a lot of big moves are being made. We just talked about PlayStation veterans like John Garvin coming over, and now he's getting into Web3 building and integrating the blockchain and things like that. Whether or not they can kind of be the proof of stake to make sure that people understand what's going on, it's portraying the concept of why it adds value. And I think that's kind of the importance of it. And at the end of the day, just give the ability to go play the game as well. I think you have two sides of it. If you want to get into that side, then cool. If you don't, then don't. And just go play your game, right? I think that's it. But yeah, it's an interesting time, Scott. There's no doubt about it. Why don't we get on to some disappointing news? Unfortunately, though, a Century Age of Ashes is delayed on PS5 and PS4 until later this summer. This comes from David over at PSU. This is the weird thing because last week, dude, they announced it was coming, gave us a date, which was supposed to be today. And then the Dragonfly in Combat free-to-play game Century of Age of Ashes will be arriving on PS5 and PS4 in an undetermined date later this summer. The news was revealed by developer Playwing through a press release later today. First, please accept our humble apologies. That's always a rough start, Scott.
Yeah, that's not a sign of good messaging to come.
No, because Ben, they had a trailer launch with the season 1 was all coming and like everything. Dude, I was pumped. I was excited. Like, cool, this looks great. I definitely want in. And then they're gonna delay it. So it's still out there, I think, on the Xbox. Is it Game Pass? I think it's on Game Pass, right?
I think it is Game Pass, yeah.
So, but unfortunately, it has been delayed, which is just I don't know when we'll get it. Nobody knows yet. I do wonder, like, what is some of the issues that they experienced that they didn't realize last week? Like, when they gave the date. Some of you might be wondering why this delay is happening so close to release. Pushing back a release is never pleasant, even more so when we know there is a huge number of players who are wanting to play on PlayStation platforms, and this will most likely be a turning point in the life of Century Age of Ashes. Passing certification on PlayStation, what we call going gold right off the back of the Xbox One release and the launch of the debut season, A Shadow over Scaled, is a tough challenge. Therefore, we are going to need a little more time to ensure we meet the quality standards to ship on these two platforms. Dude, I wonder, like, they're pretty close in tech as far as I was aware of when it comes to Xbox and PlayStation. So I wonder what kind of bug maybe popped up on them.
It's not as easy as emulating it on the opposite console, I suppose.
No.
It's not as easy as X equals A, square equals X or whatever. But it's unfortunate because don't you think somebody would have seen this coming?
Yeah, I think that was the biggest thing, right? Like, you gotta be, man, the biggest problem is it's gonna be a heartbreak to the studio going, okay, we're ready to launch. We've announced our launch. Here, we're coming to PlayStation. Get ready. And now we're not. Right? Like, it's just like, wind out of your sails. All of a sudden, you're kind of sitting still dead in the water. Man, that sucks.
Oh, and they were probably, a lot of these devs are hoping to jump on to whatever the next season is, work on other content, and you get a speed bump.
No, exactly, right? But welcome to the world of video games and development. It's not an easy thing to do. Scott, we do have a couple releases for today, and we got some big ones, man. What do we have?
Yes, we have a very big one here. As Dusk Falls is available on Xbox One, Series X and S, and PC. We also have Endling, Extinction is Forever. That is on the Xbox One, PlayStation 4, Switch, and PC. Fallen Angel is on Switch and PC. Into the Breach is on mobile platforms, both iOS and Android. And Stray has made its debut on PlayStation 4, 5, and PC, and the internet is alight with it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, everybody's talking about Stray right now. I definitely want to check it out. Tune back in, though, at noon here in just over half an hour, where you can check out one of those games on our YouTube channel. Make sure. And here's a quick tip. As Dusk Falls is already there. So there's that. But, Scott, it's been dude, that's a banger of a day. That's a lot to compete with. I think that's one of the other things too when you get into games and when you release that day. Did they take a look to see what else is coming? Like, can Stray compete with As Dusk Falls? Two different games, so I think there is opportunity there, obviously. But when we get into like Skull and Bones and then God of War the next day, you know what I mean? That just comes.
They are both very different. I hope they both survive that. Well, I mean, they will, but
for sure. But it's still one of those things. I just hope
Skull and Bones doesn't sink to the bottom immediately.
I'm really kind of concerned. I honestly am. I think the game showed promise after we watched the live stream, and I was like, man, I was pumped. And then they announced the date. I'm like, ooh, not a good move. Like, you should have done anything in your power to either release it 2 weeks earlier or like a month and a bit later, like something else. But that time frame, dude, I don't think it's going to work for them. But what's going to work for us, though, is that's the end of the show, everybody. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. This It's been ITG Daily, the show that brings you the hottest in gaming news. You can always join us live over at twitch.tv/the official ITG and YouTube at ITG Reviews at 11 a.m. Eastern. But if you can't join us live, hit us up later inside the game.ca podcast services and TV streaming networks around the globe. Until tomorrow, I'm Drew, that's Scott, and we'll see you inside the game.